Welcome to this data science class. In this class, we will begin by looking how good we can use the R language, how better we can use the R language software to do some analysis while conducting data science projects, etc. So R, as of today, its version was R 4.0, and it is a open source software, and yeah, you can get it downloaded from cran.r-projects.org, and it can be available with the Windows, Linux, etc. Then we have the R Studio, which it is going to be a desktop version. It is 1.4. So once you have to install R, then only you can install the R Studio. Without installing the R, you can't run up with the R Studio. In the market, there are few online compilers like Replit and mycompiler.io, OneCompiler, or online gdb.com. So there are a lot of compilers in the market. So as your convenience, you can start working with the excuse me. You can start working with the online compilers to do the R programming. So let us start or look at it, the basics of R. So we were mentioning it is going to be the programming language, and it is a software environment for statistical analysis, graphical representation, and reporting. So this was the prime intention why people have invented the R programming. So for that, we have this R programming, especially to conduct the statistical analysis. So this was the core reason. And second was that it was created by Ross Iheka and Robert Gentleman, and they belong to University of Auckland, New Zealand country. And yeah, the first appearance of R, it was in 1993, and the basic things was it do integrate the functionalities of the C, C++, Fortran, Python. So all these efficacies which are there, they are going to look up with these looping or modular programming. So for wherever it is, this R can work with the different set of languages. And again, it is a open source, so that is the reason why we are going to say it can be freely available, and it was with the general public license. And yeah, it is going to be providing with the various operating systems like Windows, Mac, or etc. So this is the generic overview of using a R language. Yes, some of the features of the R language, yeah, it is going to be well developed, and it's an effective programming. And yeah, how you are going to do up the conditional loops in C, Java, and Python. Similarly, in R, we have the looping structure, we have the recursion structure. So all these type of atmosphere was available with the R language. And yeah, it is going to use for the data handling, and it will be used for the storage purpose. So this was the takeaway why we are going to use up the R language. And yeah, there are advanced data structures. So advanced data structures. So we mentioned that we have an integer, we have float or a bool, etc. And these are going to be the general data structures, so char and etc. But here we have advanced data structures in R language featured with arrays, feature with lists, feature with vectors, and matrices. So in this way, R language is going to be propagated, and we have a large, coherent, and integrated collection of tools for data analytics. So that was the advantage of using of this R language. So yeah, it is going to provide the graphical facility, and we we are in a position to print up pages, etc. So all these type of items can be taken up with the R language. So coming to the introductory part of the R language, yeah, we mentioned it is going to be a open source software, and so many industrial giants, they have funded this project at like IBM and Microsoft. And yeah, let us look into the features. It is going to provide graphics, it is going to provide uh, the statistical computation. Then it is going to have the object oriented data, where the advanced data structures what we are going to look, it will be in classes, etc. So those, they are going to be provided with this object oriented model only, and it is a open source project. So that is the reason why we are going to say it is a GNU purpose. And yeah, it is able to do up the data mining and statistical analysis. So basically, we emphasize much on the data mining and statistical part in the R language. And yeah, we can conduct the time series analysis, linear models, non-linear models. So all such type of models can be taken up with the R language. And yeah, it is, we mentioned it is can be downloaded with the r-projects.org. Next one, the R Studio at this point of time. So why we need an R Studio? Because it is a rich graphical user interface which can be used to execute up the R programming, etc. So first thing, yeah, it can be taken up on any type of operating system. So it can be taken up in any type of operating system. And yeah, it can be seamlessly taken up with the big data like Hadoop, MapReduce models, etc. And yeah, it is going to provide a excellent graphics as an output. And so these are some of the features, and it gives a equivalent support. You can feel what the statistical packages software, short for social sciences software, is going to provide. And yeah, R Studio, it is going to give up a user-friendly atmosphere. So that is the reason why we are going to get this integrated data environment. And whatever operations we are going to do in the R Studio, we do with the packages. We look up with the packages, and then we start working it. So it was initially started in Ben Lab, then it went to University of Auckland, and there it was invented. So it provides 64-bit and 75 bits, etc. So coming to the latest poll, we can look up at this point of time. We have the uh, Python, which is the market vendor. Next, we have the RapidMiner, and the third position, it is going to have the popularity. So R is going to have the popularity at this point of time. So this is what you should understand. And there are, yeah, SQL, Excel, Scikit-learn, Apache, so TensorFlow, Anaconda. So these are some of the other softwares which are bubbling up. But as per the Nuggets, when it was conducting a survey, so R was in the third position, And similarly, when Reddit conducted a survey, again, R was at the appreciated by around 80% of the people. The 80% of the share it is going to have for this um, R popularity. So up to now, we looked up with some of the interesting features of what was this R and all. Now, when we talk about R execution, etc., when we talk about R execution, etc., R is going to have a prompt here. Or it is going to have a prompt here. And yeah, the word we have a habit of writing equal to in this model, but in our language we put this arrow mark towards the left hand side, and that is going to be practiced essentially to execute of this uh, R commands, etc. So the comment section, yeah, we are going to put up with the hash, and the feature you should have a note that was that we can't put multiple comments on a with a single line. So as we do it in C, a huge paragraph, we can put it in a comment area, but such things are not going to be possible in R, and every line has to be commented separately. So this was the advantage. So you can just have a watch at this point of time. My strings is going to be the variable name, and then what you are going to do is you are going to put the character data type hello world, and then you make a print operation here. So print of my string. So print of my string is going to be displayed. So this is what the first program was. So you can directly use it in the RStudio prompt, or you can write it via a file and save the file as .r. So I can say first program.r. So you can save the things with the first program.r, and then you can do the things, or you can directly write it on the prompt. So if you feel the program was lengthy, it is having 10 to 20 or 30 lines. So at that time, it is better to do the things in the file, save the file, and get it executed. But when we have it for a shorter commands like 1 or 2 lines, so instantly you can view the results. So to take that location advantage, instead of writing with the prompt, you can, instead of writing in a script file, so you can write it on the prompt. So R programs, they can be written up in two aspects. One aspect, they can write it on the prompt, and second aspect, they are going to be written with the R script files. So these are the two advantages how you are going to bring up the R content. So coming to this data types in R objects. So any type of data R is going to store, so that it is going to be treated as a object. So there are basic data types. There are basic data types like character, integer, float point, double point, and Boolean. So there are 1, 2, 3, 4 basic data types, and these basic data types, the operating system, it is instantly allocating the memory, instantly giving the memory, and again where it has to store. So that information is going to be taken up by the operating system directly. So second thing is there is no declaration part. So there is no need to declare. So automatically the system will generate the class of what the object is going to decide. So that was the advantage of our objects here. So when I'm going to put it in a character, it will be taken as character data type. It will be put, I'm putting float, it will be treated as a float data type. So such type of automatic way of conversing the data types has been provoked with the OR object. So that was the locational advantage what the OR is going to provide. So the variables are assigned with OR objects, and the data types they are going to be with the variable itself. And coming to the next element, many types of OR objects, we call them as some advanced data types or advanced data structures. So here we are going to have the vectors, the lists, the matrices, the arrays, the factors, and data frames. So these 6 items, they are going to be the holistic way of putting the OR into action. So if the OR program has to be executed well, then obviously these items need to be given up. And yeah, we have these values like vectors. It will be of a similar data, and list, it will be a dissimilar data. You are aware of matrices, so you can have 2 by 2 or 3 by 3 matrix form data. You can observe it. Arrays, it can be put it in a single dimensional or multi-dimensional. So it can be occurred with vectors, and it can be taken up with the lists, etc. And then factors, it is going to put up the granularity. It is putting up granularity. So it puts up the levels of items which are available. For example, I can say male, female, male, female, 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 and male. Then levels, it will say there are 2 levels, and then it will say male and female. So because the entire iteration, it is going to take up only 2 attributes, male and female. So there are 2 levels in it. The levels of granularity, it is going to be only 2, either male or female. So in this way, the factors are going to play up to see the data is going to be organized in a level model granularity. Next comes the data frames. So in data frames, we are going to have the structured approach. So in this structured approach, the things will be stored in rows and columns, more or less. Data frame, it is going to equal to a table in an SQL. So the thing in data frames, yeah, it is going to provide a vector, it can have lists. So this way, all the elements, they are going to be given up with this data frame model. So we were mentioning the different data types in R language. So we had enough discussion here. It can be of a character, it can be of an integer, a float, a double, a Boolean type. So these will be the different data types in the R, and they are going to be notated in form of the objects. And then we have advanced data types in R, so that we are mentioning it as vectors, lists, matrix, arrays, factors, and data frames, etc. So let us now start with the database data types and how they are going to look and how we can use it. So for the very first type of data type was logical. So when we are going to say logical, it will be like a Boolean variable with mentioning it as a true or false. So that was the advantage. So now I'm going to have a variable v, and I'm going to assign it to with the true. So obviously I'm assigning v with a bool value here. So when I want to understand the classes, so just I mentioned at the beginning here, any type of data in R, it is going to be represented as an R object, and it will be belonging to one type of class. So what was that class means? It can be character class, integer class, float class, double class, Boolean class, vector class, lists class, matrix class, arrays class, factors class, or data frame classes, etc. So any one of a category that it is going to be displayed. So that is the advantage of putting the logical entity here. So we are going to have this V, and one more thing we were mentioning, the arrow mark towards the left, we are going to call it as some assignment. We are going to call that entity as a assignment here. So it is going to produce the data type, what it is. So I was mentioning the data type, it is going to be a logical. So that is the reason why the logical value is going to print. So how I am going to do it means I am going to use a print option, and then I am going to give to which class this it is going to be assigned. So as mentioned, V, it is going to be assigned to a Boolean value. Therefore, it is going to pass out to this printing to the class. Next one. So when I am going to call it as a numeric, yeah, it can be an integer or it can be a float or double or two classes. So it is a generic. So numeric, it is going to be a generic, and it accepts. So it is going to accept any number. It is going to accept any number. So that is the reason why we mentioned 13.6 and 13.5 and 5999. So in this way, we are going to get these values. So that was the advantage of what this so we mentioned V, it is going to be assigned to 23.5. Then we are going to say print class of V. So obviously it is going to produce a numeric class. It is going to produce a numeric class. Okay, fine. Now I'm not mentioning numeric. Now I'm mentioning a integer value. So, and then if I'm going to make a integer value, so it is 2L34 long, it is 0 of long. So if it is a case, so I'm taking a variable way and then I'm assigning it to 2L value, and then I'm going to say print of print class of V. So, and then if it is going to be executed, then it is going to show it belongs to the integer class. Then we have the complex. So it is 3 plus 2i. So it is like a quadratic row square root, quadratic roots. So if that is a case, so what will happen was v is going to be assigned with 2.2 plus 2.5 2i, and when we are going to print the class, so as it is going to deal with roots and etc., so the class it is going to define it as a complex. It is going to be defined as complex. So in this slide, we have learnt about the logical, we learnt about numeric, then we learnt about integer, and then we learnt about the complex content. Next, the other type of vector objects. So the other type of vector objects, again, you can see here character. So I have single character A, I have double quotes with good, true, uppercase letters. 23.5 is put in character. So what happens was, since 23.4 is given in quotes, it will be treated as character. It is going to be treated as a character. So that was the advantage what we need to understand. So we are going to assign it to a true, and when we are going to say print class here, so print class, it is going to become character. But in the earlier version I have just given v true, and then it has given a boolean. Now I am going to put it in quotes. I'm going to put it in quotes, so it is going to return up the character item. So that was the advantage what we should observe when we are going to work with this vector objects. The next thing was the raw here. So when it was a raw quotes, so you can see hello, it is given in quotes, is stored as 48, 63, 6C, 66, 68. So what we are going to look means, we are going to put the things in hexadecimal storage. It is going to put the things in a hexadecimal storage, and thereby we get this character. Then it is converted to raw, and the hexadecimal items are going to be displayed. So this was the takeaway what we have learned and understood up to now. So a quick recap of what we have done for today was, we were mentioning that R is going to be an open source language. So first of all, we can install R, and after that we are going to install the R Studio and then start processing. There are online compilers which are going to support the R Studio with R and R Studio, like Replit IT or OnlineGDB.com and One Compiler, My Compiler. So there are a lot of online tools which you can directly execute the R content. Then why we are going to assume R was that R, it is going to be a good programming language, and mostly it is derived to do the statistical applications. So the inventors of R was Ross and Gentleman from University of Auckland, New Zealand, and it was in 1993, and it is equivalent language towards C, Java, Python, Fortran, etc. And it is a open source, and it can do it on any type of operating system. So R is going to have the data structures, basic data structures and advanced data structures with int, float, bool and character as its data types. And yeah, it is supporting the object oriented concepts, and it supports mathematical models, time series, content, etc. And why we choose R Studio was we have a look and feel, or we have an integrated data environment where we can type the things in R and do. So in 2018-19 census, the world's third largest usage of machine learning repository was R. First was Python, second was a RapidMiner, and third was R. And it was provided in two services. And R can be executed in two models. The very first model was with the command comp prompt, and second thing, we can store the R piece of code in a text file, and then we can save it with an R extension and start execution. The comments we are going to write in R, that will be with the hash, and there are no multiple comments, etc. So R objects, they are going to store the information of the data types, whether it is float, whether it is boolean, whether it is double, etc. So there are advanced data types in R, like maintaining a similar set of data item, we call it as a vectors. And if it is lists, we do have dissimilar items, and then we can represent a two-dimensional or three-dimensional matrix Similarly, we have an arrays which we can look with single dimension or a multi-dimension arrays, and the data can be presented up with the multiple levels of granularity in form of factors. And as we work with the tables in SQL, in the same model in R, we have a data frames, and we get a structured approach and make the data set to look in rows and columns, so which is a structured way of presenting the things. Then, as mentioned, every data type is going to have a class, and that class we mentioned it as a logical. So print class of V, it says that the what type of class the object is going to have, that it is going to display. Numeric, it is a general purpose which gives up both the integer or float. And if especially I want to look only in integer values, you have to mention the class as an integer. And for quadratic roots, they are going to be pointed out with the complex content. The other type, A, good, true, these are some of an examples of character type, which they are going to be put in single quotes or multiple quotes. But the number what we are going to put, if it is in quotes, it will be treated as a character. If it is not in quotes, it will be assumed as a number. The same it can be implies to the Boolean true also. And to print the things in the hexadecimal code, we use up this R, RAW. So up to here, we have discussed